Ghost stories. Everybody loves them. No matter what age or where you are. It's best to be able to turn down the lights or perhaps sit around a campfire. Have the wind kind of blowing through the trees. Spooky sounds coming from the forest. But they're good most anywhere. Sometimes, ghost stories can serve a very valuable purpose. This story comes from down around the coastline of Charleston, South Carolina, where ghost stories abound, quite common. Imagine, if you will, picture this. It's 150 years ago, or longer. There's a big plantation house sitting up on a hill. Below and behind are a row of little houses. That's where the slaves stay. In one of these houses, there's a little boy. His mother, earlier in the day, had heard him plotting with a friend. Come midnight, they were going to sneak out of the house through the window, get together, go across town to their favorite fishing hole. Now the mother knew this wasn't a safe thing to do for anybody, especially at midnight, on a dark night, through the middle of town, two young boys. Of course, she realized if she confronted him and told him what she knew, he would just deny it. And then she would end up sitting up all night waiting to make sure that he didn't go. So as she tucks him into bed that night, she tells him this story. You know, sometimes little boys, now I know this ain't be you, but sometimes little boys, they do things they ain't supposed to do. Like maybe sometimes they sneak out of the house to go fishing at night. Now I know you wouldn't do nothing like that. But if you was to know a little boy what was going to do that, I think I best tell you what might happen so you can tell him and he won't do it. Because I know you wouldn't do it. But just for the sake of that little boy, whoever he might be, I'm going to tell you this. You see, sometimes these little boys, they sneak out about midnight. And sometimes they'll even crawl out the window. And they get together and they take the fishing poles and they start to walking down to go through the town to the favorite fishing hole what's on the other side of the town. Now, in order to get over to that fishing hole, they got to go past the cemetery. Now you know what being a cemetery, being moldy, old, dead, rotten bodies, turning to dust like the Lord done said. Some of them people, the bad ones, they don't never get no rest. Them's what we call the haints. Them's be the ghost what you can't walk through. As you can see them and they's there. There ain't no illusions or nothing. Them's real and they're down in that ground and they gets lonely because don't nobody never come visit them on purpose. And they just waiting for a little boy to come walking by. Maybe with his friend to go to the fishing hole, because I know you won't do nothing like that, so you won't never got to worry. But them two little boys, they be walking along. They get up there right near that cemetery, and the wind start blowing. But in that wind, there's some kind of voice coming out. And that voice be saying, come over here. Come over here. And them little boys, they be looking around. And they ain't see nothing at first. But then they see a grave which sits up on top of the hill at the cemetery, at the graveyard, and they see a bony, old, rotten hand be sticking up out of the ground, and the finger be calling them, come over here. Now, them boys, their feet be saying, we want to get out of here and don't go over there where no hand is, but it's like a magic power be sucking them up that way. And they ain't want to be walking, but they be walking and they be getting closer and that wind be blowing. And that voice be coming out. Come over here. Come over here. They be walking up that hill and tears be running down their face and they ain't want to be going, and they be crying, Mother, help me! But there ain't be no mama out at midnight to help no little boys what's in the graveyard with the hate at midnight. Pretty soon them little boys just get the drug up that hill by that magic. And they be standing in front of that grave and they can't be moving, and another hand will pop out of the dirt. And they grab each one of them boys by the ankle and start dragging them over, and the ground get all soft and like quicksand, and they start sinking in the grave, and they be screaming and they be hollering, Mama, help me! And they disappear under the ground. Gonna be with the Hank forever. The next day, the man what takes care of the cemetery, he be come by. He find 2 fishing poles on the ground. But there ain't no boys around. They be gone forever. I sure be glad my little boy, much too smart to go out that window at midnight to go to the fishing pole, have to go by the cemetery, 'cause you never know when the Hank be out there waiting to be calling, come over here. As mother walks away, she sees those covers pull up over top of that little boy's head. She can go to sleep that night with no worries. She knows there's no way on this earth that boy's gonna leave that house that night.